The infinite train ride through the American plains. It is a quiet evening in the heart of the American countryside, where the rolling hills stretch out like a slumbering giant under the blanket of the twilight sky. The sun begins its slow descent behind the distant horizon, casting long shadows across the golden wheat fields that sway gently in the cooling breeze. You are sitting comfortably in a plush velvet seat by the window of an old, slow-moving train that is traveling across the vast open plains of the Midwest. The rhythmic sound of the wheels against the steel tracks creates a steady and hypnotic beat that echoes softly through the cabin. Clack-clack whoosh, clack-clack whoosh. A sound that has been repeating for miles and will continue for miles more. Outside the window, the landscape is a blur of soft greens and browns, blending together as the train moves forward at a leisurely pace. There is no rush to get anywhere and no schedule to keep, only the forward motion of the engine pulling the heavy cars along the iron path. You look out at the farmhouse passing by in the distance, a small white structure with a wraparound porch where a single light has just been turned on, signaling the end of a long day. The smoke rises slowly from the red brick chimney and drifts lazily into the darkening sky, merging with the thin clouds that are scattered above. The train passes a small wooden fence that runs parallel to the tracks. The wood is weathered and gray from years of sun and rain, standing as a silent witness to the passing of time. A few cows are grazing near the fence, their heads bowed low as they chew the grass slowly and methodically, ignoring the train as it rumbles past. The rhythm of the train remains constant and soothing, a lullaby of steel and motion that vibrates gently through the floorboards and into the soles of your feet, making your eyelids feel heavy and relaxed. The air inside the cabin is cool and smells faintly of old paper and polished wood, a scent that is comforting and familiar, like walking into a quiet library on a rainy afternoon. You rest your head against the cool glass of the window and watch as the colors of the world outside begin to deepen. The bright blue of the sky is fading into a soft indigo. The bright green of the grass is turning into a muted olive, and the trees in the distance are becoming silhouettes against the fading light. The train crosses a small bridge over a winding river. The water below is dark and smooth, reflecting the last few rays of the sun like a mirror. The sound of the wheels changes slightly as they cross the bridge, becoming a deeper hollow rumble that resonates in your chest. Then the sound returns to the familiar clack-clack whoosh as the train reaches solid ground once again. You close your eyes for a moment and listen to the sounds of the journey. The gentle creaking of the carriage as it sways around a gentle curve, the soft hum of the ventilation, and the distant whistle of the engine as it calls out to the empty fields. It is a lonely sound, but not a sad one. It is a sound of peace and solitude, a reminder that you are safe inside this moving cocoon, protected from the world outside. You open your eyes again and see that the stars are beginning to appear in the sky. One by one, they twinkle into existence, tiny points of light that have traveled for millions of years to reach your eyes. The moon is rising now, a pale crescent hanging low over the horizon, casting a silver glow over the landscape. The wheat fields look like a silver ocean now, rippling in the moonlight. The train continues its journey through the night, passing through small, sleeping towns where the streetlights cast warm pools of yellow light on the empty sidewalks. You see a parked car sitting in a driveway, a bicycle leaning against a porch, a swing set standing still in a backyard, snapshots of lives that are currently at rest. Everything is still and quiet. The world has slowed down to match the rhythm of your breathing, slow and steady, in and out. The train moves on, leaving the town behind and entering a dense forest of pine trees. The trees stand tall and straight like guardians of the night, their branches interlocking overhead to form a tunnel of darkness. The sound of the train is muffled here, absorbed by the thick carpet of pine needles on the forest floor. The scent of pine and damp earth seeps through the window, a fresh and grounding smell that clears your mind of any lingering thoughts. You focus on the darkness outside, watching for the shapes of the trees as they fly by. The hypnotic motion of the passing trunks is like watching a pendulum swing back and forth, lulling you deeper into a state of relaxation. You feel your muscles loosening, the tension in your shoulders melting away, your hands resting loosely in your lap, your legs feeling heavy and comfortable. The train begins to climb a gentle incline, the engine working a little harder now, the chugging sound becoming slightly more pronounced, but still rhythmic and soothing. You imagine the pistons driving the wheels, the steam rising, the gears turning, a complex machine working in perfect harmony to carry you through the night. You are a passenger in the true sense of the word, simply along for the ride, with no responsibilities and no destination, just the journey itself. The train reaches the top of the hill and begins to descend, gliding smoothly down the tracks, picking up a little speed, but remaining steady and controlled. The view from the window opens up again, revealing a valley bathed in moonlight. A small lake sits in the center of the valley, its surface perfectly still and calm, reflecting the moon and the stars like a polished black stone. The train curves around the edge of the lake, giving you a long, uninterrupted view of the water. It looks cold and deep and silent, a place where time stands still. You wonder what creatures are sleeping beneath the surface, fish resting in the dark water, frogs quiet on the muddy banks. Everything is part of the great cycle of rest and activity, and right now it is time for rest. The train slows down slightly as it approaches a crossing. The bells of the crossing gate ring out with a soft ding-ding-ding, a rhythmic chime that fades away as you pass. The red lights of the signal flash rhythmically in the darkness, red and black, until they too are left behind, disappearing into the distance. You settle deeper into your seat, feeling the plush velvet against your skin, the warmth of the cabin contrasting with the cool night air outside. You are wrapped in a blanket of comfort and safety. The rhythmic rocking of the train is like being rocked in a cradle, a gentle back and forth motion that soothes the nervous system and quiets the mind. Thoughts drift in and out like clouds passing across the moon. Nothing stays for too long. Everything is fluid and moving, just like the landscape outside. You think about the history of this land, the settlers who crossed these plains in wagons, the endless days of travel, the quiet nights under the stars. They saw the same moon, felt the same wind, and now you are tracing their path in a steel carriage, connected to the past by the land itself. The train passes an old wooden barn that is leaning slightly to one side, its roof sagging with age. It is a monument to hard work and perseverance, standing silent in the moonlight. Nature is slowly reclaiming it, vines creeping up the sides, grass growing tall around the foundation. It is a peaceful process, a slow return to the earth. Nothing is rushed. Everything happens in its own time, just as sleep comes in its own time. You do not need to force it. You simply need to let go and let it come to you, carried on the rhythm of the train, the clack-clack whoosh, clack-clack whoosh. The sound is becoming a part of you, a heartbeat that syncs with your own. You feel a heaviness in your eyelids that is impossible to resist. They flutter and close, then open briefly, then close again, staying closed for longer periods each time. The visual world is fading away, leaving only the auditory world, the sound of the wheels, the creak of the carriage, the hum of the air. It is a symphony of sleep, a composition designed to bring you to a place of deep rest. You imagine the tracks stretching out ahead of you, two parallel lines of steel running into infinity, never meeting, always guiding. You are on a fixed path, safe and secure. You do not need to steer, you do not need to navigate, you only need to rest. The train enters a long tunnel now. The darkness is complete. The sound changes again to a roaring echo that wraps around you. It is a womb-like darkness, warm and enveloping. The world outside has vanished completely. There is only the train and the motion and the sound. You are suspended in time, traveling through the void.
The Infinite Train Ride Through the American Plains, Part 3. And as the dream continues to unfold in the theater of your mind, the train moves steadily onward, leaving the rolling hills behind and beginning a gradual ascent into the high country. The air outside becomes crisp and thin, carrying the scent of pine and frost, though inside you remain wrapped in a bubble of perfect warmth. The landscape shifts slowly from the dark earth of the plains to the rugged beauty of the mountains, great stone giants sleeping under the stars, their peaks dusted with a layer of fresh white snow that glows softly in the moonlight. It is a world of monochrome beauty, black rock and white snow and silver light. Everything is frozen in time, silent and majestic. The sound of the train changes as it enters this new terrain. The echo of the wheels bounces off the rock walls, creating a rhythmic chant that sounds like a heartbeat, deep and resonant. The train enters a long curve that hugs the side of a mountain. Below, you can see a valley filled with a sea of dark evergreens, millions of trees standing shoulder to shoulder in the cold, a blanket of nature that covers the earth. A frozen river winds its way through the valley floor, a ribbon of white ice that reflects the moon above. It looks solid and unbreakable, a testament to the power of winter. Yet here, inside the carriage, it is eternal summer, soft and comfortable. You pull the heavy wool blanket up to your chin, feeling the weight of it pressing down on you, a grounding sensation that makes you feel secure and protected. The window pane is cold to the touch, a thin sheet of glass separating two different worlds. Condensation begins to form at the corners of the window, tiny patterns of frost that look like ferns and feathers, growing slowly as you watch, nature's artwork painted by the cold. You watch a single snowflake detach from the gray sky and drift past the window, then another and another, until the air outside is filled with dancing white specks. They swirl in the wind created by the passing train, a chaotic ballet that is mesmerizing to watch. The snow muffles the sound of the world even further. The click-clack of the tracks becomes a soft thud-thud, a muted heartbeat that is felt more than heard. The train seems to be floating through a cloud, moving effortlessly through the white void. You feel a profound sense of isolation, but not loneliness. It is the comfort of solitude, the joy of being disconnected from the demands of the world. Up here in the mountains, there is no cell service, no internet, no noise, only the raw elemental forces of nature and the steady forward motion of the engine. The train passes through a snow shed, a long wooden structure built to protect the tracks from avalanches. The sudden darkness is absolute. The sound changes to a hollow roar, and then, just as quickly, you burst back out into the moonlight and the snow. It is a cycle of light and dark, sound and silence, activity and rest, mirroring the cycle of your own breath, in and out, deep and slow. You are sinking deeper into the cushions of your seat. Your body feels heavy and limp, completely relaxed. Every muscle has let go of its tension. From the tips of your toes to the top of your head, you are a vessel of peace. You think about the engineer up front, guiding the train through this winter wonderland, watching the tracks with steady eyes, a silent guardian carrying you through the night.
You trust the train, you trust the journey, you trust the process of sleep. It is waiting for you, just around the next bend, just over the next ridge. The train slows down as it approaches a high mountain pass, the engine working hard, the steam rising in great white plumes that mix with the falling snow. The pace is slow and deliberate, a measured crawl that feels incredibly soothing. There is no rush to get to the other side. The climb is part of the experience. The struggle is part of the journey. But for you, there is no struggle, only the gentle rocking motion that lulls you deeper and deeper. You look out at the passing trees, their branches heavy with snow, bowing down in reverence to the night. They look like old men with white beards, wise and silent, watching the train pass by. You wonder how long they have stood there, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, watching the seasons change, watching the trains come and go. They are the keepers of time, silent witnesses to history. The train reaches the summit of the pass, the highest point of the journey, and for a moment the world stretches out below you in all directions, a vast panorama of mountains and valleys and clouds. It is a breathtaking sight, a reminder of how small we are and how big the world is. And then the train begins its descent, gliding down the other side, gravity taking over, the engine relaxing, the momentum carrying you down, smooth and easy, like sliding into a warm bath. The descent is even quieter than the climb, a gentle coasting that feels like flying. You close your eyes and imagine yourself soaring over the mountains, weightless and free, drifting on the wind. The train passes a small mountain cabin, a tiny square of yellow light in the vast darkness, smoke curling from its chimney. Someone is awake in there, tending a fire, reading a book, waiting out the storm. It is a cozy image, a spark of humanity in the wild, and it makes you feel warm inside to see it. The snow begins to lighten as you descend, the flakes becoming smaller and fewer, the moon appearing brighter again. The train moves into a tunnel of tall pine trees, their scent penetrating the cabin even more strongly now, a fresh, clean smell that clears the mind and cleanses the spirit. You take a deep breath, inhaling the essence of the forest, exhaling the stale air of yesterday, renewing yourself with every breath. The rhythm of the tracks returns to a steady beat, slightly faster now on the downhill slope, but still rhythmic and controlled. Clack, clack, whoosh, clack, clack, whoosh. A song that never ends, a story that has no beginning and no end, just a continuous loop of comfort. You feel your consciousness slipping, fading, dissolving into the rhythm. The boundary between you and the train is blurring. You are the passenger, and you are the train, and you are the journey. It is all one thing, one experience, one moment in time. The darkness behind your eyes is rich and velvety, full of soft shapes and colors that drift and change. You are on the edge of a deep sleep, hovering in that sweet spot between wakefulness and dreams, where everything is possible and nothing matters. You are safe. You are warm. You are loved by the universe which holds you in its gravity. The train curves gently to the right, following the bank of a new river, a dark snake winding through the snow. The water is not frozen here. It is black and moving, reflecting the stars that are peeking through the clouds. The storm has passed. The sky is clearing. Peace has returned to the mountains, and peace has returned to you. You settle in for the long haul, knowing that the train will carry you safely until morning, knowing that you can let go completely. Sleep is not just coming, it is here, wrapping its arms around you, pulling you down into the soft, warm darkness, deeper and deeper. Clack, clack, silence, sleep.
The Infinite Train Ride Through the American Plains, Part 2. And as the mist clings to the windows like a soft white curtain hiding the world for a moment, the train moves deeper into the quiet heart of the night. The air outside has cooled significantly, and a light rain begins to fall. You can hear it start as a gentle tapping against the glass, a soft rhythmic pitter-patter that mixes with the hum of the wheels. tiny droplets race each other down the window pane, distorting the few lights that pass by into streaked blurs of yellow and red. The rain intensifies slightly, turning the world outside into a watercolor painting of shadows and moisture. The sound of the rain is incredibly grounding, nature's own white noise that wraps around the train like a cocoon. You pull the collar of your coat up slightly, feeling the warmth of your own body against the cool draft that seeps in from the window. It is a pleasant contrast, warm and cool, dry and wet, inside and outside. The train passes a series of tall wooden telephone poles that run alongside the tracks, their wires dipping and rising, connecting distant towns to one another. They stand like silent sentinels in the rain, watching over the iron road. You imagine the messages that used to travel down those lines, news of births and weddings and weather reports. Now they just stand there as part of the landscape, part of the history of this vast continent. The train crosses a small creek now, the water swollen from the rain, rushing over smooth stones. You cannot hear the water, but you know it is there, moving towards the river, moving towards the ocean. Everything is in motion, yet everything feels still. Inside the carriage, the lights have been dimmed to a soft amber glow, just enough light to see the outline of the seats and the heavy curtains. The other passengers are just shapes in the shadows, some sleeping, some reading, all lost in their own private worlds. There's a shared silence here, a respectful quiet that acknowledges the lateness of the hour. A conductor walks slowly down the aisle, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. He moves with the grace of someone who has spent a lifetime balancing on moving floors. He checks a ticket here, adjusts a curtain there, a guardian of the journey, ensuring that everyone is safe and comfortable. He nods to you as he passes, a simple gesture of acknowledgement, and then disappears into the next car, leaving only the scent of polished brass and old wool in his wake. The train begins to curve again, a long, slow bank to the left, and you see the front of the train far ahead, the single bright headlight cutting a cone of light through the rain and darkness, illuminating the steel rails for a fraction of a second before they disappear under the wheels. It is hypnotic to watch that beam of light, searching the darkness, leading the way, never wavering. The train enters a region of farmland now, vast fields of corn that stretch out for miles. The stalks are tall and dry, rustling in the wind, standing in neat rows like a silent army. In the distance, you see the silhouette of a grain silo, a tall cylindrical tower rising against the dark sky. It looks like a castle turret in this light, a monument to the harvest. The train passes a railroad crossing in the middle of nowhere. There are no cars waiting, just the blinking red lights reflecting off the wet pavement, a lonely warning for no one. The sound of the bell is lower here, deeper, fading quickly as you speed away into the cornfields. The rhythm of the tracks changes again as the train moves onto a section of welded rail. The click-clack becomes a smooth, continuous hum, a low drone that vibrates deep in your chest. It is a sound of modern efficiency mixed with old-world charm, a sound that says you are making progress mile after mile without any effort at all. You are simply being carried, held, transported. The rain softens to a drizzle and then stops, leaving the world glistening and damp. The moon breaks through the clouds again, brighter this time, reflecting off the puddles in the fields, turning them into pools of liquid silver. You rest your head back against the seat. The velvet is soft against your cheek. Your breathing is slow and deep, matching the slow roll of the carriage. You think about the vastness of this country, the endless miles of land that lie between the oceans, the mountains and the prairies and the deserts. And here you are, a tiny speck moving through it all, safe and warm, observing but not disturbing, a traveler in the night. The train slows slightly as it passes through a small sleeping rail yard. You see other trains parked on the sidings, boxcars and tankers and flatbeds, resting for the night, silent giants waiting for their turn to move. The graffiti on their sides is colorful and strange, a secret language of the rails,
art that moves across the country, seen by everyone and no one. You pass an old brick station house that has been converted into a museum, its windows dark, a vintage steam engine parked out front on a display track, a ghost of the past saluting the present. And then you are out of the yard and back into the open country. The speed picks up again, the rhythm returns, clack-clack, whoosh, clack-clack, whoosh, reassuring and constant. You feel a heaviness in your legs, a pleasant weight that anchors you to the seat. Your hands are relaxed, your fingers uncurled, your jaw is loose, your eyes are heavy, so very heavy. The landscape outside is blurring more and more, not just from the speed, but from your own sleepiness. The trees are just dark shapes now, the houses just flickers of light. The world is simplifying, reducing itself to sound and motion. The train is a cradle rocking you, the tracks are a lullaby singing to you. The night is a blanket covering you. There is nothing to worry about, nothing to do, nothing to plan. Tomorrow is a distant concept, miles and miles away. Right now there is only this moment, this seat, this train, this peace. You listen to the subtle creaks of the wood paneling, the shifting of the metal, the breathing of the train. It is a living thing, a gentle beast carrying you through the night. You feel a sense of gratitude for this journey, for this pause in your life, for this chance to just be, to just exist without expectations. The train begins a long, gentle climb up a grade. The engine hums a deeper note, working steady and strong. You feel the slight tilt of the floor, the sensation of rising, lifting up towards the stars, higher and higher into the velvet night. The air gets thinner and cleaner. The view expands. You can see the lights of a distant city on the horizon, a cluster of diamonds glittering on the edge of the world. It looks beautiful, but far away, detached from your reality. You are in your own world here, a world of steel and velvet and glass, moving through the void, safe and sound. The train reaches the crest of the hill and levels out, cruising effortlessly along the ridge. The lights of the city disappear behind the hill, and you are alone with nature again. Just the moon and the trees and the tracks, always the tracks, guiding you home, guiding you to sleep, guiding you to dreams. Your eyes close fully now. The darkness behind your eyelids is warm and inviting. You see flashes of the landscape in your mind, the cows, the barns, the silos, the rain. They are all part of a dream now, weaving together into a tapestry of relaxation. You drift deeper, the sounds of the train becoming a distant murmur, a background texture to your sleep. You are floating on a river of sound, drifting towards a sea of silence, safe, warm, relaxed, asleep.
And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the quality of the darkness begins to change. The deep velvet black of the night is gradually softening into a cool slate gray, a silent signal that the earth is turning, spinning slowly towards the light. The train continues its steady descent from the high mountains, leaving the snow and the pines behind and entering a lush green valley where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and morning dew. The sky in the east is beginning to blush with the first faint hints of color, a delicate wash of violet and indigo that spreads across the horizon like watercolor on wet paper. The stars are fading now. One by one, they blink out of existence, retiring for the day. Their job is done. The moon is still visible, but it is pale and transparent, a ghost in the morning sky, hanging low over the distant hills. Inside the cabin, the air feels fresh and new, a sense of renewal that comes with the dawn. The rhythm of the wheels seems to soften even more, becoming a gentle hum that harmonizes with the waking world. You look out the window and see a thick blanket of mist hovering over the fields. It clings to the ground like a soft white quilt, swirling gently around the trunks of the trees and the fence posts. The train slices through the mist effortlessly, parting the white clouds which swirl and close up again behind you. It is a mystical time of day, the hour between the dog and the wolf, where shapes are indistinct, and the world feels magical and dreamlike. You see a herd of deer standing in a meadow, their ears twitching as they watch the train pass. They are silent statues in the mist, brown silhouettes against the gray-green grass, peaceful and alert. The first rays of the sun begin to peek over the edge of the world, shooting long fingers of golden light across the valley floor. The light catches the dew on the grass, turning millions of tiny water droplets into sparkling diamonds. The world is suddenly illuminated with a soft, warm glow. The gray lifts and the colors return, rich greens and browns and golds, vibrant and alive. You feel the warmth of the sun on your face through the glass, a gentle heat that seeps into your skin and warms your bones. It is a comforting sensation, like a warm hand resting on your cheek. The train passes a farmhouse where the chimney is already puffing white smoke into the cool air. Someone is making coffee. Someone is starting their day. But your day is still far away. Your task is still to rest, to soak in this beauty and this peace. The train crosses a wide river now. The water is calm and glassy, reflecting the sunrise in perfect symmetry, orange and pink and gold, ripples spreading out towards the banks. A single heron takes flight from the reeds, its long wings beating slowly against the air, a graceful, silent movement that embodies the spirit of the morning. You watch it until it disappears into the light, a fleeting moment of perfection. The train slows as it passes through a small town that is just waking up. A bakery truck is parked on the main street. A shopkeeper is sweeping the sidewalk. The street lights flicker and turn off, their job finished by the rising sun. The town looks idyllic and safe, a place where time moves slower, a place where neighbors know each other. You feel a connection to these people you will never meet, a shared moment in the timeline of the morning. The train leaves the town and enters a tunnel of trees, the branches meeting overhead to form a canopy of green. The sunlight filters through the leaves, creating a dappled pattern of light and shadow on the floor of the cabin, dancing and shifting as the train moves. It is hypnotic to watch, a natural kaleidoscope that tires the eyes in the most pleasant way. Your eyelids are heavy again. The brightness of the morning is not waking you up, but rather lulling you into a different kind of sleep, a morning nap, a drift into the subconscious where the light is warm and the world is safe. The sound of the train is a constant friend, a steady heartbeat that has been with you through the plains and the rain and the snow, and now the sun. It is the thread that ties the journey together. Clack, clack, whoosh, clack, clack, whoosh, steady and true. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for this machine, for this window, for this quiet moment in time. The train begins to slow down significantly now, gliding along the tracks with a lazy ease. It is not stopping, just taking its time, enjoying the morning just as you are. The destination is not important, the arrival is not important. Only the motion matters, only the peace matters. You let your head fall back against the cushion, the sun warming your closed eyes, the sound of the wheels fading into a soft whisper. The world outside is bright and beautiful, but you are content to stay inside, to stay in this moment of rest, letting the train carry you forward into the golden light, into the future, into the dream, safe, warm, peaceful, at rest.